Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another one of the Tony Talks Trash episodes. This one is going to be pretty special for me. You know, the great thing about doing a show like this is you get to do some artists that you think are underrepresented, and I couldn't say that more about this artist that I'm actually wearing the T-shirt of now. I've been a fan of NRBQ for a long, long time. I really discovered the magic of their shows when I was working in Washington D.C. in the late '80s and the early '90s. Just something else. I mean, every time they blew through town, we were there. You know, whether it was at the Birchmere in the old days, or in at some of the newer clubs, different places that they had played throughout the years. They seem to have come, out our way a little bit more. We just saw them recently. I've seen them in Pennsylvania before several times. Actually, my children have seen them several times. We went to Baltimore and got a front row seat for a one. My kid Blake Rogers is at WVU now, but is an excellent piano player and really admired Terry. So I wanted to see shows, and so we saw a number of shows. My son Joe too, who's the mastermind, as you know, behind this podcast. He's seen him a number of times too, and is a fan. So it's kind of nice to be able to do the artists that really mean a lot to you. Every time I've seen them, they were spectacular. I've never really seen a bad NRBQ show. I've seen a lot of really memorable ones where some kind of crazy stuff happened. I remember seeing a showdown with my friend John one time down at Rehoboth Beach at the Dogfish Grill where, Terry basically detached the clavinet from the rest of the stage and was dancing with a lady out playing the clav and like pushing it while he's dancing to the side of the stage. I'd never seen anything like it before. The roadies running, trying to get everything together while it's still coming through. And he's still here, and it was unbelievable. But my God, what a great band. And of course, Terry Adams, at the center of it all. So much admiration for the guy. I mean, he's been pure and he's done it the right way. There are songs that attest to that. And, as a result of that, what I did today was I've combined the Terry Adams solo records with NRBQ to do a long list. This may be a little bit lengthy. Hopefully we'll try to brisk through this some to try to get through the ones and the highlights. But the main thing I want to say is, there's a number of live records, and I'm not including live records in here. Like I don't include compilations. And that really kind of does a big disservice to this band. Some of the biggest tragedies, I think, are some of these live records that they had before, such as Tokyo and such, that have not made it yet to vinyl. Hopefully these things are slow. I know Omnivore's working with them. Hopefully at some point they'll get to some of those, maybe put out a box set of some of the stuff they haven't put out yet on vinyl. Because there's a lot of these you're going to see I don't have on vinyl. A couple of these may be out that I don't have. But the majority ones that I don't have aren't yet on vinyl. And that's one of the problems that we have. I'm not going to hold up CDs here. But we're going to get started here with this and talk a little bit about NRBQ. NRBQ formed in Louisville, Kentucky, the place I went to law school. I actually saw them when I was out there, too. Some during the Message for the Message tour. Spent some time out there talking to Joey at the bus, actually. One of the only times I ever talked to him. But it's Terry. Right now, it's Terry, Scott Ligon, Casey McDonough, and John Parr, and they've been together in that formation since about 2015. The past members, Joey Spampanato, Tommy Ardolino, God rest his soul, who lasted up into even playing some with the quartet, the Terry Adams Quartet, and the first Terry Adams solo record when they took the hiatus that we're going to explain here in a little bit. Of course, Al Anderson, who's gone on to have the superb career in Nashville and as a songwriter premier, was able to do what he wanted to do. Good for him. The sadly departed Steve Ferguson, Frank Gadler, Tom Staley, Ken Sheehan, Pete Donnelly, who was in the new version of the band right after the quartet, Conrad Shokran, who was a drummer in much the same capacity, Bobby Lloyd Hicks, and Joe Camarillo. And a lot of these were to find John Parent. I think they've got a pretty stable situation right now. The one thing I want to tell you is if you haven't seen this band live, I know you've heard it before, but I'm telling you, there's not an experience like it. So I'm going to count down these records, and this is going to be Terry's records and the Q. And you go down through here, it's incredible to me that only their first record was the one to chart. But, Johnny Spampanato, of course, took over for Al Anderson, was there for a long period of time in the 90s before they took the hiatus. And then he and Joey elected not to return. Joey had some health issues following that, but anyway, their live stuff is absolutely as important. And it was really dodgy for me not to put in things like God Bless Us All and because those are fantastic. Digging Uncle Q, those are two great records. And a lot of them have new material on it, but a lot of them have old material too. They're done in the great areas of the Northwest there. One of the Lupos, I think, and the others in Connecticut, I believe so. But then there's other great ones. You Got to Be Loose. My God, what a great document that was. That was when Johnny was on fire in 1998. That band was kicking butt. The Live at Mountain Stage and the Wax Museum, Froggy's Favorites, which is a great collection of stuff. NRBQ at Ardmore. Turn in, Turn On, Tune In is the latest double record set that they had live, which really captures the current band there. They're live, and a bunch of compilations and renamed things. You've got Uncommon Denominators, RC Colon, Moon Pie, Kick Me Hard, all the different ones, Scraps, Reissue, Scraps Companion. There's a million things here. But let's get to what we're going to count. We're going to count the NRBQ studio records, and we're going to count the Terry Adams studio records because I think they're very important. Let's start off here with one that I do have on vinyl. Number 28 here from, it looks to me like to be 1995, Lou and the Q. And what a mess this is. This is nothing but basically Lou Albano raving. There's some good stuff. Well, there's some good versions here. Don't You Look Good Live? It isn't bad. But for the most part, it's a tribute to the captain, him doing the roll call, him talking about, and Terry is out there with the raccoon. Anyway, funny record, but again, more just like a tribute, almost like a comedy record, not really counting here on number 28. Now, here's one where I'm probably going to get some slack here. I do have this on vinyl, too. This is my number 7. I'm going to count this from 2002. This is, and I have one of the rare ones on Sunday's vinyl. This is That's in My Band. The reason why this is as low as it is I think it relies a little bit on covers. I think at some point during the end of this band, something happened with some of the material, some of the things. Party in My Head's great. Terry as a Muffin I've seen some great live versions of that. Come Softly to Me is really special. Norma's a good song. Love Is Waiting, White Horse. This is an okay record. Beautiful Sunday's a cover. Kingston Town is the cover, that emanates originally, I guess, from some of the old shows where Tommy and Terry would come out and did and flip that out. They whip that out. They did I believe in the NRBQ when they had the big deal up in Connecticut at the Shubu or wherever that place was. Tommy and Terry came out and did a really special set where they did that. Anyway, 2150 Headquarters is good. See You Soon's decent. Wandering Star. But the truth of this is, to me, at the time, the way it felt like they're going through this, but it seemed like there was half-hearted. I don't know if there's half-hearted effort or what happened, but I'm so happy to have this because this is a hard one to find it at this point. This is the later quartet. This is again from 2002, 2.5 stars. I have that. Then let's move on to one of the next ones that I have here. Bop and the Blues from 1970. Everybody's going, why is he picking it at this point? Well, this is not all NRBQ. A lot of the stuff was Carl Perkins singing on this, and it's just the kind of a situation. Down on the Farm is great. Big Brother Dawn's on it. Bop and the Blues just coasted, but really Rip It Up is them. It's kind of tag team, you go, I go type of a thing, and it's an okay record, but it had to be disappointing for them to be cross-merchandised at that point, that early point of their career. And they'd actually had a little bit of success with the first record. As he said, it was the only one that had happened. That was my 25. I'm sorry, I want to go back one. That was actually was my 26. My 25 is Louisville Sluggers, the combination between Steve Ferguson and Terry Adams from 2006, considered a Terry Adams solo record. Of course, the big song that you saw the video was Dutchess County Jail thing that they did. A lot of people really think that that was the real impetus for the band. I have some Steve Ferguson stuff I'll show you a little later on that aren't in here. But you got the Peanut Vendor thing too that NRBQ had played. It's real nice. Outer Space Boogie, which of course is part of one of the rare records that I have that I'm going to show you something special on here later. And Hey Good Look and Blue Monk. It's just nice to have them together. They went out on a short tour before, Steve got sick, and they knew Steve was sick, and Terry had actually, as you know, had been through it, or going through it at that time. So original release from 2006. I'm going to put it at number 25. Number 24 is going to be another Terry Adams thing, 10 by 2. His combination here with Marshall Allen of Sun Ra. Of course, Prelude to a Kiss is nice. They actually do Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head on this one too. This is another one we have on CD because, we really don't have a choice. And I mean, if there is vinyl, I'll buy it as soon as it is. Evil Art is really fantastic, but the point of it is that it is an improvisational thing, and it flies a little bit off the handle. Some of these things do. That's the one part about NRBQ that a lot of people, aren't a fan of. So it kind of splinters some of the fans sometimes. Is some people like the straight ahead R&B garage rock vibe of them, which is a huge part of their sound. But again, an equally big part of their sound is Sun Ra and Thelonious Monk, and kind of coming unglued some from or as they like to say, spreading the harmony some, and that's what happens, and you get stuff like this. I love it myself. Some people don't like it. I'm marking it, I guess, for everybody at number 24. Number 23 is going to be their most recent one, Dragnet, here that we have from 2021. A really good record here. The problem is that there's where's my pebble is good. I love You Can't Change People. You Can't Change People hung out there for a long time. It was on a live thing from New York, a live show that they had done, and Terry did kind of a keyboard version of it and sang it himself. It was really nice. Lonely Lonely is really kind of disturbing. There's been a few songs on some of the ones. Sunflower 2. There's really a lot of bleak messaging with this, which is a little disturbing here. You get this extra little thing inside with it. Produced by Big Notes. 5 More Miles. Dragnet's actually good. Memo song's good. Miss Goody Two Shoes. I like her so much. Really good song by Scott. Good record. Good record. I'm going to say just basically in the mix. I don't know it well enough to bring it in. I know it was a 21 thing. I have listened to it some, but I still feel a little bit that I don't know it enough to put it a little higher. So, and the same thing would actually go with the 2011 record, which I really want on vinyl too. And some of these things that aren't on vinyl, that really affects them, my listening with them. I don't do much Spotify listening or anything online, YouTube listening. Some stuff that I like sometimes, if I have to fill in to listen to things. But we're going to put number 22, Keep This Love Going. That's the comeback record for the band. That's the record that reestablished the band after the quartet. Really, essentially, is the first one that was put on. That song that Scott did called "I Love Animal." That's on there too. I mean, it has some really great stuff. It's kind of the reestablishment of the band, and I've got it at number 22. It happened at a period of time where I was kind of out of it some, or not really not as aware of things. So I was not there, around that point when the quartet ended and that started. I was there at the beginning of some of the quartet stuff and things, but life happens in the meanwhile, and sometimes there's live shows about, and sometimes there's not. Anyway, number 21 is the last record from the band before the hiatus in 2004, and that's 2021's Dummy. I think Dummy is a really good record in spots. I certainly like Call of the Wild. I think Call of the Wild is a great song. I think my son likes Hey Pumpkinhead. That's one of his favorites, and I guess it was one that they had played a whole lot live. But it was one that was all that's left is to say goodbye. When what happened after that was kind of strange that they put that in. And then they ended up having to use one with Al at the end, Misguided Missiles, which I thought was just kind of strange at the end of the record. The record was short, though. God with the Blue Dress, Be My Love's Good, I Need Love, Decent, Imaginary Radio, of course, A Major Statement by Terry. One Big Parking Lot, and Little Rug Bug, of course, one of those song, purchase song things that Tommy was uh, fond of. But anyway, that's where I have number 21. Let's go to number 20. Is the Skeeter Davis record, and that's one that I think that they have put back out, and I'm going to grab it on vinyl. I don't have it now. Is She Sings, They Play. Let Me Say Things to You, of course, being the big hit that would show up on the compilations. It was a surprise. It was a surprise. She Sings, They Play. Rounder Records, 1985. Can't Stop Loving You, of course. Ain't Nice to Talk Like That. You've heard some of them. I'm laughing because there's a funny version of that on YouTube where Terry does it live, and Terry and Skeeter go back and forth. It's funny. But anyway, how many tears? You don't know what you got till you lose it. Roses on My Shoulder, nice. I mean, this is a good record. It's a solid record. They are reissuing it now, and you need to go get it. Number 19, Talk Thelonious here. Terry Adams solo record here, of course. Some of the best stuff. This is some of the band with it, really. I mean, it's really NRBQ playing it too. And Walk Bud, Honing In, Monk's Mood, That Old Man Hump. And you'll hear these songs from time to time. And a lot of people who aren't familiar with the Monk catalog will ask that. Straight No Chase, of course, Ruby My Dear, which should be recognizable to anybody. But their versions of them really fit Terry's style. Terry's style really fits Thelonious' style. And it's no surprise to me that they got this done, and this was all basically recorded live. This is a live record. It was done with an augmented band here with different players here, and you've got violins and French horns and harp. Really a special night, a special time to have this done. And this was recorded in Burlington, Vermont, April 5th, 2012. So this is a very special document. I like this a lot. Again, it's on the outer edge of what's acceptable, with some of the NRBQ crowd. It's certainly not straight ahead rock, but that's where we go from there. In number 18, we're going to go to 2019's Brass Tacks, and I think this is a really decent record. I think this is one that sat in my lap. I'd Like to Know. Greetings from Delaware, fantastic song. I'm Not Here, Waiting on My Sweetie Pie, of course, you hear all the time. Getting to Know You, the version of this. This is a band becoming more confident. It's a shame Conrad didn't stick around, but then again, we wouldn't have John. So I mean, it's everybody goes their certain way, and I'm sure he's busy and he's working well. But that is our number 18, and now we're going to go to number 17, another one that is not on CD. The fantastic Terry Adams record, Letter to Andromeda. That is really an avant-garde record. It's something that is not for everybody, but for the person that is excited about this kind of music, the Sun Ra type of stuff, the deal here. It is what it is. His solo records here have been consistent, but this was on Clang in 2008. This was right in the middle of his commercial, what I consider to be his more commercial two records, Rhythm Spell and Holy Tweet, which you've noticed haven't come up yet. They're going to come up a little bit later. And it's just fantastic. And I like it a whole lot. I think it's a great record, and I don't know what other people think. I enjoy it. It is another special moment in the catalog of Terry, which is kind of how he presented himself up to that point. In number 16, I have 1983's Tap Dancing Bats. Let's roll through this. This is Captain Lou, of course. I Don't Think Of You, Got It. Rats in My Room, of course. Ain't It All Right? Doe Got Low, Tap Dancing Bats, Fighty Thing. And some of this stuff is more popular than other. This is an interesting record in that it has some of the old stuff too. Some people consider it to be this with the whole wheat horns. So a lot of horn work here. The Doe Got Low, Drop and Blow Away is a Don Adams song, or a great song. But Tap Dancing Bats, a lot of fun. That one is number 16. Now number 15, we're going to go with the one I have in multiple copies of, Scraps. Scraps is a record that was put out at the end of the deal with Kama Sutra. And on Red Rooster here, Howard Johnson's got his Mojo Magnet. I mean, some of the best stuff. Only You. Who Put the Garlic in the Glue? Get a Grip. New tune. This is still with Tom Staley in the band. This is pre Tommy, but Tommy's right there. And of course, the great Do You Feel It? Do you feel it? I saw one live show in Baltimore, man. They opened up with that one time and about ripped the place up. There's something about the whole night was just special. That night they were really on fire, and I've seen them some nights like that before. At number 14, let's go to another one that is not on vinyl, which I'd love to have on vinyl, and I don't. Terry Adams' wonderful record, Holy Tweet, which I find to be just spectacular. This when we heard this one, we were surprised. It was it was actually a departure that I thought. I mean, when you're talking about the group as that we thought when it came out at NRBQ, when they on the hiatus of coming back, it sounded a little more jazzy. It sounded like they were really moving towards this. Holy Tweet is the second of the two, but has the kind of disturbing, so disrespected at the end, a little bit different. But it's got my girl. My children love this record. Beautiful Lover. Yes, I Will. Key to My Baby's Got the Key to My Pants. Fantastic. I'm Alone. It's a little disturbing at the end, but fantastic record. Again, David Greenberger of his I forget the guy's thing assisted him with this record, is putting it together. Tommy really played drums on the whole record, and that to me is what gives these two records a character. This one and the one he had before, Rhythm Spell, which are I think superb. Let's go to number 13, another one I do not have on vinyl, and it should be on vinyl a long time ago. The breakthrough record, Wild Weekend. Wild Weekend was, of course, a huge hit for NRBQ at the time. They thought everything was moving forward. They had a nice video from it. Everything was going really, really well, and it was never really explained. I know Warren Zevon had something to do maybe with what had happened, but Virgin had signed him too. Remember, Warren Zevon had put out, I think, Sentimental Hygiene about the same time. But Wild Weekend, we really thought was going to be something. It looked like they were going to put something on, but I know they were really disappointed with the video that had been put out with the cats and stuff. Little Floater, I think, is magnanimous. I mean, if you ever see a great version of that live, there's nothing like it. Of course, Boy's Life, one of the best Al songs. It's a Wild Weekend is the one. My favorite thing is when they played it live, they got bored with it at the end. They used to speed it up. Used to speed the tempo up. I mean, literally everybody speeding up, racing towards the during the solo. They used to do that during the guitar solo. To Johnny, I saw Johnny be taken by surprise one time around the time they first started doing it. I think he'd forgotten about it. Pomp and Circumstance, I like him, but the One and Only is a Joey song that got played a lot. Like a Locomotive, Immortal for a while. So I thought that was really one that was going to break through. It didn't, and unfortunately, that was a heavily promoted record. Let's go on then to the one. Then this is one kind of in transition here. This is one with you've got Terry Adams here. You've got Tom Staley still. You've got Al Anderson in this band and Joey. This is a different band. This is Workshop. This is one at the very end of the era with Steve Ferguson, and you've got Come On If You're Going, R.C. Cole and the Moon Pie Blues, Stay Away From Me, Get That Gasoline Blues, which ironically is the only one of their singles to ever chart. They didn't really have a lot of singles, but Deaf, Dumb, and Blind we've heard before. Misunderstanding, 4 Million BC. I got a little secret, a little bit of a lopsided record. I think the front side a little bit better than this, but an underappreciated record and a hard one to find on Kama Sutra vinyl here. From the band here, and that is Workshop. Let's go to number 11. Another one I do not have, but it's coming out, or it's out, or it's coming out. I'm going to get it. I'm going to look for it. Somebody told me it does. I got an email on it just this weekend, so I'm going to check on it. Probably purchase it this weekend. It's terrible. The first record by Terry, which I have always loved. Uh, great. He's just the kind of guy that is able to present his other side. This one was enough. I remember that my girlfriend, uh, we bought this from him up when we saw him at the Birchmere store. But out the window with Gary Window, of course. Yeah, the version of Yes, Yes, Yes is good. Little One's good. Thinking of You, but just a nice jazz record. It's really him, Marshall Allen, Pete. Pete, who would later join the band, I guess he was involved with him at that point, but he would come later. Tommy, of course, playing on it. Joey, John Sebastian, Jim Gordon on harmonica, Johnny. So a lot of different people on this record. Of course, it's his brother Don and Tyrone Hill, but it's his solo record, and it's a jazzy record, and it's a different take on what they did. And I think it's probably the best jazz, the most consistent, clear thing that he did. Not always clear isn't always the best, but that's it. Here's another one that there's number 10 for me. Let's start the top 10. This is one that I'm really kind of upset about that has not made it on vinyl's message for the message. To me, this is a really special record, and I don't understand. I haven't understood for a long time why this has not been on vinyl. It's just not the kind of, and it has. There was the last album that Big Al did. Had written songs for it. I remember Johnny having to go out on this tour. This tour was odd because Al had recorded the whole record, and then he stopped, and then he went out to promote it, and it was Johnny. So Ramona, of course, beautiful song by Joey, Designated Driver, the thing, but everybody's smoking. I'll tell you a little story quick. We saw them before this record was out at the Birchmere. My friend Ariel and I, we were in the front row, and Terry we're in the front row of the old Birchmere, where you actually were, in chairs close to that. He was knocking the front row over, completely bent us back, in our face about everybody smoking. It was crazy. I mean, we weren't smoking. Nobody. I don't think you could smoke in there, but he was unbelievable. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. Always loved SPAMP. Spapanata. Vice for Teenagers, of course. They played that for my kids a couple of times. When Terry spotted us, they played that song. Girl Scout cookies always like to. Yeah, great record. Crime, it's not on Omnivore. If you need another one to put out next, that's the next one to do it. Number 9, let's go to 1977. We're back in the classic age, and we're welcoming in Mr. Tommy Ardolino here on this. This is all hopped up. Rocket in My Pocket. I Feel Good. Cecilia, Honey Hush. Call Him Off Rogers. There's a story about how Tommy got in the band. He hopped on the bandstand while Staley was out doing something. I don't remember what happened. Of course, this has a Riding in My Car in it, even though it was promoted to be on Yankee Stadium. Still in School, Queen Talk, which I love. That's All Right is great. Bonanza Theme, Still in School. This is Help Me Somebody. This is a classic. This is mine on Red Rooster, and this is 1977, and it's number 9. I'm going to go next to the 1999 other one, Omnivore, if you need to know which one what to put out. How about the yellow one called NRBQ, the yellow record? I still remember seeing this tour in New York up at the Bowery, and that's when they had the Shags came back to play with this. They had the Holy Modal Rounders. We went to 2 concerts in a row. They're fantastic. They were on top then. It was really kind of celebrating them. But this record here from 1999 is let me take a look here at the set list just so I can or the list so I can tell. But this was one where I felt like they had brought stuff back. They certainly Puddin' Truck, CM Pups. It's funny. Take Me to Your Secret was the one that they brought back. It was they had done that earlier and had never made it on any record before, and they kind of redid that. That's good. Birdman's decent. Termites, Love Came to Me, Sail On, Ain't No Horse. Very strong record. Careful What You Ask For. My mommy's kind of stupid. You got the stupid humor there. But anyway, that's my number 8. That's NRBQ's self-titled record from 1999. Let's go to the final one that I have here from Terry Adams, which is the his other record here, and I have that at number 7 of all the NRBQ records. I have Rhythm Spell. Why do I have Rhythm Spell? Because Rhythm Spell from 2007 is basically a slap back in the face of being shut down in 2004 after his cancer. Essentially, the guy got cancer, came back, wanted to come back with the band. The band didn't really want to come back. And that's their right to do that, but Terry kind of had to start over, and it's a frustration of this. Never before, never again, just wonderful. Rhythm Spell, One Shoe, Umbrella, Till It's Over. Da-na-da. That's fantastic. Everything I Do, 1,400 Miles, Fake Hug, and the best. Ding, 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 ding. Out of here. We out of here. What a comeback to me. To me, very troubled at the time because you heard the rumors going on, and then this comes out. It's almost a sigh of relief that everything's going to be okay. It took a little while to fold back into the band. You know, they didn't get back to 2011. It was about a 4-year period of moving back. But Tommy was smacking the drums at this point. Unfortunately, Tommy died in 2012, but I think of all the drummers they've had, I really think the new guy, John Perrin, they have has his own voice and has his own thing. And rather than be a clone of Tommy, he's got the spirit of Tommy, and that's the important thing. Number 6, I'm going to go with the only one of the records to ever chart, and this is the reissue that Omnivore did, which was kind of deluxe and open, which it was not originally. I have the original also here. Come On Everybody, Rock at number 9. I mean, how many of these songs have you heard? You Can't Hide, Stomp, Fergie's Prayer, hymn number 5, Stay With Me, Liza Jane. Yeah, look at them back there. There's the boys from Louisville and Miami, man. That's they putting it together for the first time. Oh, Steve Ferguson, man. God, he was something else, man. Fat Foot Floozy. Holy moly. That's something. They said, I remember when he wasn't there anymore, about Al Anderson, they said, well, I'll hire the first guitar player that can play Flatfoot Floozy, and I think Al nailed it for him. We're getting into the great ones now. Okay, here's another one, Omnivore, number 5. This is going to shock you. It's going to shock everybody. But this album rocked my family, and it came at a time when my kids were young. I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about You're Nice People You Are, the great record that they did, the children's record that they did years ago. And it was in 2007. We played this thing off the rails. They played these songs live. They've played these songs before live. It was one of the last really substantial ones, I guess, they did before this was done, but it wasn't in 2007. What am I talking about? It was before that. It was in, 07 or hold on a second. Let me take a look at when this was. But the kids loved it. Encyclopedia, of course, is huge. Yeah, it's 1997. There it is. You know, Nice People You Are, Encyclopedia, always safety first. You know, it's funny when Terry and those guys spotted, they play without a set list, you know. And when they spotted my kids here in Baltimore, they played like a couple of these songs that were, first time, We're Walking, Walking. It's great, man. I love those guys. They just have the best spirit. They want to bring people in. Sleep, I think, is gorgeous. Sleep is better. Sleep is like their version of Good Night by the Beatles, except it's better. It really is. It's a great song. It's a beautiful. You're Nice People You Are. Encyclopedia is fantastic. There's some great live versions of it, man. It's funny. My kids used to love it. Music Lesson, There's a Girl, There's a Boy. Next Step, Brattleboro with the da-da-da-da-da-da, little train sounding. Fantastic. Spider, beautiful. And Tumbleweeds Danny's. This is some of Johnny's best. You know, Johnny's made some good songs here with this thing. We're walking, walking. That was it. Plenty of something. I love it. I love you for doing it. My kids loved it. It brought us together. And actually, from now on, if I go to NRBQ shows and my kids are there, my kids want to go. They love NRBQ. It's been a big part of their growing up, and it's kind of made them different from everybody else. And that, to me, that's what it's all about, man. They got the nice spirit. But that's number 5. Number 4. Let's get to the really hot sauce here. Number 4, we're talking about Kick Me Hard, We're talking about Kick Me Hard. We're talking about Kick Me Hard. We're talking about the four of them here with Wacky Tobacco. Don't She Look Good? It Was an Accident. I want to show you Electric Train, Tenderly, Hot Biscuits and Sweet Marie, All Night Long, This Old House, Things We Like to Do, North to Alaska Chores. This is a classic to me. This is when the band really got into gear. Whole Wheat Horns raging on this as well. This is when they were really coming together as a great live band. They could basically, live print money up in the Northeast. They could play at Lupo's probably 7 days a week. People loved them. People loved them. I never got to see them there. I wanted to. I saw some of the great videos from the time. It's a great time. I think this was this close to the time when they did the version of Edmund Fitzgerald that went on for like 25 minutes or whatever. If you get a chance to look at that, check that out. There's a lot of that stuff with NRBQ that some of us that have a sense of humor amuse. They have a great sense of humor. Another great one is that Tommy and Terry thing where they did the a cappella version of Real in the Years. He goes, when all the time I've known you, I still don't know what you mean. That weekend at the college didn't turn out like you planned. Oh, it was just hilarious. I mean, the way there's no music, they're just shouting it back and forth. Some funny stuff, man. But anyway, let's get down to the nitty gritty. 1983, Grooves in Orbit. Just smackaroo, ba 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 ba. That old clavinet just rage on that. Rain at the drive-in. How Can I Make You Love Me, Beautiful Joey. When Things Was Cheap, God, what a great one that is. You get to see that one live, that's a special one. Daddy-O. I used to come home. I used to make. They didn't really like it, but I used to say that. Who do you love? When I said, "Oh," they wouldn't respond. But I never had candy. My wife would have killed me if I'd have gave candy and stuff all the time. My Girlfriend's Pretty. I love it. I like the script. There's just great songs on this. Their version of Get Rhythm, of course, and Hit the Hay. A Girl Like That, 12 Bar Blues. I mean, these songs on here. The quality of these songs when things are cheap. This is this great songwriting record, and they're really, really something there. This is to me is 5 stars, buddy. I'm not saying anything's better than this. This is great stuff. And while we're saying about great stuff, let's keep it going like the captain breathlessly uttered, Hilly Wings, Hilly Wings, Hilly Wings, Hilly Wings, Hilly Wings, Hilly Wings. Yes, indeed. Feel You Around Me and the Boys. Music goes around and around. This is really probably Al's peak too. Al really came in his own. There was a great roll call. What a great balance of talent here. Want you to feel good too. My God, he walk you right out of the world with that definition of love. Just never take the place of you. You can't hide behind your makeup. And then Hobbies here at the end. Yeah, man. Whole Wheat Horns recorded Bearsville studio in their home bank play. I mean, this is very close to the peak, guys. Very close to peak, 1980. And while we're talking about the peak, that only leaves one, and you know which one that is. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it. And they probably get tired of hearing about it. But it's that great record from 1978, the year I graduate, at Yankee Stadium. And you say at Yankee Stadium, if you're an NRBQ thing, you're thinking, wow, they played at Yankee Stadium. No, they're sitting in Yankee Stadium. They didn't play at Yankee Stadium. Anyway, I have a promo. This is a promo, obviously, of this record. It's in the front, and this is the version with Riding in My Car in it. Later on, for some reason, I don't know why, maybe because it appeared on the other record that I talked previously, the subsequent pressings of them took it off. But this is one of the ones, and it's got the little promo thing there in the corners, you see, and this thing. But I got it here, and it's on Mercury, and it's basically comprised of songs that would make up the bulk of any band's great set forever. You might go see them in a night, and you might go see none of these. They may not play any of these songs, although you might go a night. And if you play a normal night, you're going to see a couple of them. What ones might they be? Well, you know right away, Rodney, in My Car is going to be one. I Want You Bad's typically one of the ones you see live. Green Lights, Ain't No Free, That's Neat, That's Nice. Get Rhythm, of course. Get Rhythm was a showstopper for Al, and then was a showstopper for Johnny later. Shake, Rattle, and Roll Right in My Car. Great from beginning to end. Of course, Green Lights, Bonnie Raitt did a big version of that. But this is the one that they're typically known for. Go see these damn guys. I mean, we're now in the day and age where, the injustice of their lower profile with the records can be corrected by you going to see them live and giving them all the kudos that they want. Because I will tell you this right now: you will never in your life see a more skilled keyboard player than Terry Adams. You won't see a better show. You won't see somebody that will entertain you more or has more natural talent. The band can respond on a dime. You see them do it live on stage. They follow each other. It's a live experience like nothing else. Let me show you some stuff that got left out here quickly. I got some other stuff here that might interest you. There's I talked about God Bless Us All. There's a God Bless Us All, which is a lot crazy like a fox. Here comes Terry, every boy, every girl sitting in the park. See, this stuff should have been mouthwater, and most of this is not on the record, but that's a great one. Here's a Wild Weeds record with Big Al. This is Big Al's first band here on Vanguard. That's an early one. This isn't anything. I have a different version of All Hopped Up in the first one. I've got the first copies of these. I'm standing here. Here's another one of these great live ones that we don't count here. Digging Uncle Q. Who do you love? Who loves Daddy O? Just the way you are. Won't you come over to my house? Comes to me naturally live. Rocket in my pocket. Trouble with the hen house. Scarlet Ribbons. This has a little more of the stuff on it, but it's nice. I told you guys about the record that I got from about Steve Ferguson. This is a rare one with the Outer Space Boogie on it. This is their local record that they made in upstate New York. He talks about this being recorded up in Louisville, but you've got She Loves Me Not, Gotta Have a Woman, all this. And interesting. And one thing I got that I wanted to show you guys and share with this is I bought this from a gentleman who showed me this, who sent me this along with it. And I was touched by it. I mean, it seemed that he wanted me to know that he had a personal relationship with Steve and that the record that I had was connected to Steve. And so I thought that was a touching thing, and I kept it here. And, maybe it's a little weird for me to show it to you, but I'm going to show it to you. I think it's good. I have the great record by the, unfortunately, past Tony Ardolino. There was 84 500. This is number 84, Unknown Brain. Fantastic record that he made himself, home recorded. The great retrospective High Noon. Any of these retrospectives are fantastic. They all come at you at different ways. Let me grab this. This is one of the infrequencies. This is one with different versions and different unreleased things that they'd had before that was recently released. The Gray Window record, Dogface, that's here. I got this Flat 5 records. There's the first one here, I think, or one of the first ones. Christmas record here. Didn't rate it. Big Al solo record. Steve solo record. Released last year. I don't know if they have any more of these, but damn it, everybody should buy them out. The other Flat 5 record. I Don't Even Care on it. Over and Out. Yep. Incredible Casuals. Johnny's band. I got the Crazy Girl. And Tune In. Washington, D.C. record at Sirius Radio, 2 to 4 in New Jersey. WFMU. Everybody needs to buy this. Everybody needs to go see these guys. Thank you for a lot of your time with this. I know it took forever, but they really are a special band to me, and I appreciate you hanging out with me. We will catch you later. Please leave any comments, any lists you have. We appreciate if you like this and to subscribe. I'm kind of getting my obscurity out of the way now. I'm probably going to have some more obscure things now, but people look at the totality of this are probably saying, my golly, he's got everything from one thing to the other, and it's going to keep broadening too. I'm just kind of an eclectic sort of a dude, so hopefully we can get something else interesting here that you haven't seen before. I really appreciate you all listening to this. Thanks a lot, and take care. We'll see you next time.